and good evening, and welcome to what? The Truth Behind the Truth. Yes, indeed. Thank you guys for tuning into with us tonight. We want to welcome our Facebook family, our YouTube family, our Instagram family, our TikTok family, our UK family, and everybody else's family. Thank you guys for taking out the busy evening to spend with us here on the show, and we're looking forward to having a great show tonight. We hope that everybody had an awesome week. I want to tell you real quick before we dig into our quick topic for this evening. My gosh, we have got an all-star lineup coming to Truth Behind the Truth over the next few weeks. I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but guys, just get ready to tune in. We got actor Coco Brown coming back with us. Okay. Yeah, we have actor Keith Burke coming back with us. We have actor Kevin Savage coming back with us. All right. We have actor. Okay, I'll keep going. Roll. We have our wonderful Sister Chandra Torelli, coming back with us. Okay. So the list is going on, and then we have some other. And we'll wrap up this series next week with my dear sister. Okay, Miss Deborah Evans. She's talking about her book. And she'll wrap up the series with us next week on the writer's page. But after that, boy, we're going to roll out some good stuff for you guys. We're going to do a relationship series coming up.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's what we need.
Absolutely. Kind of a full circle moment. So in that, but that first show, we're going to talk about men's sexuality.
Oh, Lord.
We're gonna get heterosexual men and gay men together to have a conversation.
Oh boy.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so I'm working on that, and I've already talked to a couple of heterosexual people to be on the gentlemen to be on the show with us that particular day. So that may be a double series. Okay, so we're gonna kind of leave that window open to see how they want to talk, because I'm gonna get some truth. We gonna get some truth behind the truth. Okay.
Gonna be a lot of truth, hopefully, to spill over.
I know, right? Exactly. So I'm excited about this. So guys, be ready for those shows that are coming up. We're gonna have an exciting conclusion to summer, because that's gonna really roll over into the end of summer with us in terms of shows. Okay. Then we got some big surprises coming in the fall. Okay, so y'all, I'm telling you, y'all need to be tuning into the Truth every week. Okay, put it aside. Set your. You can't record us. We record ourselves for you, so you can go back and watch the videos. All right, go to YouTube. Exactly. Go everywhere and see us. All right. So pretty soon you're gonna be seeing us on ABC, NBC, CBS, one of them shows, one of them networks. Okay, every weekday. Okay. So y'all get ready. Truth Behind the Truth is coming at you, and coming at you strong and hard. Oh, I mean strong. Anyway.
Crazy.
That's that second part. I was gonna go along with it until he did that. Keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving. I was gonna go along.
Well, hey, you know what? We got a man show coming, so that just kind of sets the mode for the man show coming up. All right. There's the preeminent manipulation show coming up. All right. Anyway, fellas, it's so good to see you. Parnell, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm on that drive down here to Laguna Beach for the show. So if I have to leave y'all, it's not because I don't love the subject. It's just I want to be safe on the road. I got to set a good example.
We want you safe.
That we understand. We understand. So, audience, we appreciate you, Parnell, being on two jobs and being on this job, being on the other job. So, if his camera goes out, audience, a little bit, hey, work with it. At the end of the day, he's being faithful to the cause. All right. So, we appreciate him diligently doing that in between from one point to point A to point B. Harold, how are you, brother?
I'm good. Excellent. I took a little nap, so I'm
good. You got that CMOS kick in, right?
Yeah. You see how I jumped up.
I know, right?
I'm good.
Good deal. Well, everybody, tonight we are celebrating our brother Harold LaFall and his accomplishments through being an author. So it is his night. We will want to dig with him. And a few minutes after we have a little quick host chat, we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to come back exploiting Harold tonight, okay? All right. But anyway, so let's dig in real quick before we go to the commercial. I did want to bring up one thing, okay? And, we're all about inclusion on our show, Okay, because even though this show is ran typically by 4 African American men, we're very inclusive. Okay, we have our African points, but we want everybody from whatever perspective of the human race that you're a part of, not to be afraid to have a conversation with us. We come with strong facts, and strong agendas. But if we see something that's out of line, regardless of if it's Caucasian or Black, we're gonna bring attention to it. Okay, that's what our job is. Okay, at the end of the day, because we want you to know what the truth behind the truth. Right. With that being said, I'm gonna jump on the Black Lives Matter movement just for a moment. Okay,
I'm surprised you're not jumping on the Delta variant at the moment.
Well, I will. Okay.
Covering up the face. Go ahead.
But I sent the gentleman a brief article. I know that originally it came through Fox News, which is okay, whatever, but there was some validity to it. The purpose of somebody putting it out there, okay. And I know everybody don't hear you because Harold, you saw it, right? The article I sent to you, the news clip. Harold, you didn't do your homework.
When did you send it to me?
I sent it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh. And look, I'm 54. That was 2
you know what?
54 2 weeks ago. Look, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
You're good. Okay. You're good.
Well, anyway, okay.
Go on the story. You make a connection.
You connect.
Yeah. You connect.
So the head leader of the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay. Well, anyway, Fox News and somebody else sent it to me in discussion mode. So I looked at it, and what it was dealing with is that the woman that was the head of the Black Lives Matter movement is in under huge investigation for funds embezzlement through the IRS for $90 million, which has $90 million. Okay, and she's claiming that these were funds that she had nothing to do with, or whatever the case may be. However, they put up 4 different houses this woman has bought throughout the course of the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, so she also claims that allegedly claims that that she was awarded this amount of money or these funds by public speaking events that she did over the course of the George Floyd movement, during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement. Well, I want to just put it out there. I ain't heard no damn movement, no seminar that she came anywhere near Atlanta. And I know she didn't come out here to LA, at the end of the day. So I'm trying to figure out, well, girl, if you were doing a motivational speaking, a series or whatever, I think it would have been broadcast somewhere. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna raise this kind of money, and at that particular point, well, no, I don't believe that was happening. Okay, what we find is the same scenario that we run into all the time. These people, getting these powers, and they fleece people for money. Okay, and they lose their grip, they lose their psyche, they lose their mental capacity because they got all the money exposed to them. Now, the only thing I would give her credit for is that in fact, if she was traveling to some of the movement or some of the movements or whatever, and the money that they got in through the organization, which was quote unquote tax-free money, because of what is it, C13 or what is it called, the C3. Yeah. So, in that, okay, fine. However, if you were, I can give you the fact that, hey, you popped it, or whatever you think you are, you took a private jet. Okay, I'll give you that because you need to get in, get out of town. All right, I give you that much. But at the end of the day, when they come up with saying that you have bought 4 houses over this time frame, thank you, Cheryl. Then there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think that these people are going to come up with something, to, put something against you in the process of this. I think it is horrendous. And far as what it needs to be as an example, and what it shows that to the African American community, you can't trust nobody, at the end of the day. And it just displays that. But anyway, what do you guys think?
Well, I won't go so far as to say you can't trust anybody.
Right. Okay.
And the investigation is still pending. So I would hate to rush to judgment without all of the evidence, because
But let it be a teaching moment, though. Right, I mean, if you start a group, and like we said, this is allegedly going on.
Right.
We need you. If you're going to start a group that is this political about and is on a certain stance when it boils down to racism or in some type of forms of inequality, whether it could be women's situation or abortion, you have to understand that people are supporting your group, and they're hoping that the money is going to get used.
Right.
Now, I don't know if she bought, like we said, she bought 4 homes, but for those who are actually doing this type of work, please, 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 let it be so legitimate to the point that you are actually showing people what they're supporting. You know, I've seen her do some summits in Atlanta. I wanted to say she had this what that Puff Daddy has a summit in Atlanta where he brings all the celebrities to the stage, because he did one with Candace Owens, which was like, it was all over social media with T.I. and her going back and forth. Mm-hmm. But she did that summit, I believe that summit to be exact. Okay. But she sells books. I give her that. She sells some books. She's an author. Okay. But the fact is, though, if you're going to run an organization or any type of organization and people are donating you money, I really hope that people are really showing them where that money is going. And I'm hoping and praying that they're putting that money to good use, because we need groups on our side.
True.
And we need for them to be legitimate in what they are doing. That's why I always go back to the civil rights movement. There was a reason why they had to tiptoe through the tulips when it boiled down to what they were doing, because there were so many people dead against what they were doing.
Exactly.
So they had to, dot their I's and cross their T's. It's still the same way in this situation. The difference is there's no J. Edgar Hoover.
Right.
There's a J. Edgar Hoover somewhere, but still though, that is just not as bad as it was back in the day. But like I'm saying, I'm not going to rush too much to judgment. Right. But I want to say, people, please, if you're starting any type of organization, please do not just take people's money and use it for your own benefit.
That's true.
Show these people what you're doing with their money.
Right.
And I wish the politicians were the same way too. Wow. They need to show us what they're doing with our money as well.
We won't.
But we're not going to go there.
We won't cross the line.
We won't cross the line.
We won't cross the line to them Sunday services, but we ain't gonna go there.
Oh no. Lord Jesus, don't let us go in that direction. Okay, let's keep it moving.
But anyway, Parnell, what do you think? So anyway, Parnell, what do you have to say about it?
Revolt Summit. Thank you, Charles. Okay. Revolt Summit. Thank you.
Did we lose Parnell? I think he froze on something. Yeah. But go ahead. If you got any more to say about it, Harold, go ahead.
I think he's muted.
Is he? Okay.
Isaac's losing.
Yeah, you guys, bear with us. Parnell's coming in. I think you're muted, brother.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, you muted again.
Oh, dang it.
Okay.
You didn't say dang it. Don't say too much more. Don't start cursing.
That's my job.
Cussing preacher.
Go ahead.
Okay, I hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I like Dylan was saying, the same thing is I really hope that she has crossed all her T's and dotted all her I's and can document where the money came from.
Yes.
Because the organizing that she did behind BLM, I'm sure she wasn't doing it for free. So I hope she was compensated for that, as well as any speaking engagements and books that she sold. And it all depends on where was she buying these homes at. Now, buying homes in Los Angeles is a completely different story than buying homes in Atlanta or Tennessee or something. It's a completely different field. I mean, you got like a 3 or 4 bedroom house in LA. It's common to go for $1.5 million or more. Minimum. Where you may be able to buy that. Yeah, where people are buying these mansions in Atlanta, for $500,000 or at one point it's like $250,000. You buy a 4-bedroom mini mansion in Atlanta. So I don't know what their financial situation is. I really hope that this investigation, because people investigate all kinds of stuff, and people can still be found innocent of wrongdoing. I really, really hope that this investigation is concluding with like, okay, well, sorry, it was allegations and we were wrong. Everything is above board. And on the other hand, if it does show that there was some bad faith going on, that she is accountable, and that is an example for everybody that is in positions of leadership to keep their nose clean when it comes to the finances and their behavior. That is one thing that I know. Sean King goes through this all the time, where people are accusing him of taking the money that he gets, and he's constantly having to show, here are all my books. Right. My books are examined all the time. You can see where every penny that I raise goes. So this could be that same example of people making claims against her that folks are like, well, we at least have to investigate it to find out if there's any truth behind it.
Exactly.
And we'll go from there.
Exactly. Amen. Very good point. You know, and again, that's important. That whether it's Black Lives Matter movement or whatever organization that you're over, you know, it should be, because I mean, there's a lot of situations going on. I mean, that former idiot that we had as a president is finally under investigation for such a manner that and mismanaged and hiding funds and all that type of stuff. And to be honest, I mean, we'll just say for the record, I think most of America hopes that they roll down the Mar-a-Lago, the Mar-a-Lago, and with some handcuffs in hand, and escort him out. Most America wants to see it happen. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just the truth of the matter.
Call it more illegal.
More legal, yeah.
Maybe. He intentionally mispronounced it.
More legal. More legal.
I was purposely mispronouncing it. But, so, I mean, at the end of the day, it just has to be that way, But and at the end of the day, it's really about accountability. I mean, it truly is about accountability. If you're in a position of power, typically because you're in a position of power in the representing a marginalized group of people, you're going to be scrutinized even more.
One thing
and that's the thing that I have to believe, that as smart and savvy as she is, I just believe that she is aware that all eyes are on her, that the organization is such a high-profile organization, and to do something that would be so obvious and blatant, I just.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
she needs to be careful of where she's spending her time, because not all people are good people that circulate around what you got going on. You need to be very choosy, if that's where I'm going. Well, you have to be very choosy of the company that you keep, because a lot of people that they want to support you, but you have to understand that you got to come with people who mean some business and who means about the people. Mm-hmm. I want to say, I don't have nothing against her being around celebrities. I think it's great that celebrities want to be a part of her organization. Nothing wrong with that. But everybody cannot be a part of your inner circle. That's what I'm talking about. When it comes down to reality situations, you need to be very choosy about those types of people. Because I know for a fact that, I love the fact that, people like Porsche and all of them were part of the Breonna Taylor movement during the, I think it wasn't this past summer. Last year. But I'm just, just be careful. And then on top of that, just dot your I's and cross your T's in these types of works.
Absolutely.
Because there are people like Fox News who are going to find stuff.
Right.
And you got to be able to jump on it. I'm not going to browbeat this lady, because I know there are people who are getting away with this type of stuff. But she doesn't need to be in that group.
Right.
And that's the difference. She don't need to be in that group.
I'll say this one point, then we're going to run a break so we can get back and get into the Harold segment tonight. Mm-hmm. But I do want to bring up one other person, we when we talked about in our different conversation, is that, the following attorney, that is behind every movement that exactly, that shows up for everybody's unfortunate tragic event. Now, we had, just a live discussion that we all have about that, but I did want to bring that up. Just want to see what you guys think about, the millions of dollars this man has made, off of the tragic events that people have done, to these groups of people. My thoughts are, this is just my thoughts in the process of that, is that I would, maybe you would, Harold, maybe you would, Parnell, maybe you would, Donald, invest some of my money into building a better idea for the community, helping people go to law school, helping people do all these other. I'm not saying that he doesn't, but it just, I don't know. I'm just throwing out different conversations. I mean, what do you guys think?
Who are we talking about?
Ben Crump. Ben Crump.
I know you.
I don't watch the news. I don't have a TV out.
Well, yeah, but he's not a newsworthy person. But he's the one that shows up for every black event, every black tragedy. He shows up for representing the family. Okay, maybe Pernell, you want to mention that real quick?
Well, I mean, this is the thing about it. There are always those folks who either show up to do the work that are there for the work, and there are always those who show up for the fame.
Right.
When the cameras are there, they show up. I don't know this man. I don't know him. So I really don't know his motivations behind it, and I really can't speak on that, unfortunately, because I got an opinion on everything. But
I just want him to just be on the right side of what he's doing now. I mean, I know he's trying to. I don't think he's trying. I don't want to say that he's auditioning to be the next MLK. I don't think anybody would be auditioning to be in that type of scenario.
No.
But the fact is, I'm just hoping and praying that he is not doing certain things other leaders were doing. I'm trying not to name those names, but the fact is, though, with Ben Crump and Al Sharpton being a unit, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive, because I'm just wanting our people to do what is right and what is necessary for humanity. And I just hope and pray that he's doing the will and doing the work, because it's time for leadership. But at the end of the day, we got to put away the foolishness of being always in front of the cameras. I think, and one more point I want to make, even though Martin Luther King was in the cameras, or Malcolm X, but the work was being done. It was getting done. I'm just hoping and praying that he's getting it done too. That's all I have to say about that.
I love that. I mean, I love that. So I know we could go on with this, but we're gonna move on. Okay, for you from this big point. But good live discussion, guys. So I really wanted to kind of emphasize on that emphasis about the Black Lives Matter movement and what have you. So we're gonna go to a break. We're going to come back with our esteemed brother, okay? I like to refer to him as the doctor of knowledge. That could be the knowledge of life, the knowledge of health, the knowledge of prosperity. So he's really, he don't like to be called doctor because he thinks he's not worth, but he is worthy of it because he works hard. The man worked hard, people. I'm gonna tell you, he works hard. Even down to the point he had to work so hard, he got to take his shirt off sometimes. So hey, when you have to give your own shirt off your own back, man, that means you working hard.
You're working hard for the money. That's what Donald Summers said.
You working hard for the money. All right, but we will be right back after this commercial with our esteemed brother Harold LaFall. We're gonna dig into his ideas and what he's developed as an author, and we're going to talk about his books tonight. All right, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right.
Hey. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to The Truth Behind the Truth.
Yes.
Once again, want to welcome all of our friends and family that are tuning in tonight. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Not enough time to go by the list that's out there today, but we always thank you for taking the time out being with us. Again, want to open up and say thank you to our Facebook family, our YouTube family, Instagram family, our UK family, and everybody else's family. All right. Yes. That tunes in with us. As we started at the top of the show, just want to remind you guys, we got some powerful impact shows coming up over the next few weeks. So please adjust your calendar to be with us on Saturday evenings. Yes. We have our star-studded, I'll put it that way. That's the line of actors that'll be back coming to what we call it, hanging with the fellas. Okay. Right. So they're going to come back and be a part of Hot Topics. They're going to be sharing about what they're doing. So we have the illustrious Chandra Corelli that will be back with us. Coco Brown will be back with us. Keith Burke will be back with us. Kevin Savage will be back with us.
Just keep coming back with us.
Everybody, that's it, exactly. And some of the familiar faces that have been a part of previous shows as well. So Susan's coming back with us too to share it. So we got a lot of people coming back. We have some power pack shows that are coming back. But without further ado, tonight. Oh, and by the way, Parnell had to drop off, guys. He may come back in a little bit, but he's getting ready for a show, as you guys know. So give him applause. He's really performing out there. So he'll be dropping in and out periodically from now through September. All right. Yeah. But anyway, so tonight we are so excited to have our illustrious brother, as I said earlier. Yeah. We call him the king of juice, the king of herbs, okay, and the man of wisdom with I Am Enough and 100% juicing. We want to welcome our dear brother in a celebrity way tonight. Okay,
you're making me feel real special.
Exactly. And also the very distinguished part of this cast of The Truth Behind the Truth. And so this is his night. We're celebrating him. All right. Dr. Harold Lafone.
Yes.
One thing, Doctor, I'm gonna need you to pull that mic up to your mouth so we can hear you.
You can't. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Now we know you're
now you can hear
you in the house.
Okay, I gotta hold it. Okay, all right. Okay, I'll hold
now we know you're in the house.
Okay,
Harold, as always, it is such a joy to have you part of our lives. First I want to say that number one, I can take it personally. You and I have been brothers for a while. In that, and then I think when we first interviewed you on the show was last year, getting close to this time. At that point we brought you in just to talk about where you were going at the point and the synergy that you gave to that moment, even when I had to drop off. Beautiful guys. At the moment I had to drop off the show, and I think because I think you were on, you had to work that day or whatever. But then Harold kept the show running. We knew then, actually, and then we talked off camera about it, but we knew then that Harold really needed to be a part of the cast, and since then he has brought such light to us, and catching the vision of Truth Behind the Truth, and we're supporting each other where this show is going and the other projects we got on. So, brother, I just want to tell you before we get started, I love you dearly. Thank you so much for your sacrifice every week, being here with us, along with our illustrious our production team, Dr. Ish's behind the camera that makes Truth Behind the Truth what it is. Parnell knows that, but we'll celebrate Parnell when he's back on the show. You can hear it. But and they know I always believe in giving people their flowers. I always do. So thank you again, brother. Thank you so much. For that.
Well, thank you guys for having me and inviting me to be a part of the show after that first takeover.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So let's dig in. Let's go from maybe let's talk about before we get into juicing, because I know that's a lot of layers you have to get into. And first of all, before we get in, we did play Harold's commercial, guys, but I want you to tell them verbally again, Harold, how to get in touch with you, before we get started, in that, and what lines of product that you have. But then we'll talk about juicing later. But I don't know how you get in touch with you. Guys, you see his commercial comes up every week on the show, and it's The Good Living Now. Make sure you jot that down. Reach out to him, okay? You're supporting Black business, okay? And no matter who you are, you're supporting Black business by supporting him at the end of the day, all right? But Harold, share with that form real quick.
So, all the products, the supplements, and the books, they're all on the website. The website is thegoodlivingnow.com. Thegoodlivingnow.com.
All right. Perfect. So let's look at your first. Was I Am Enough wasn't your first book, was it?
No, my very first book was called Brother CEO.
Oh wow! Okay.
Success guide for Black Men. And I wrote that book over 20 years ago. And really the reason I wrote that book is after I started my first business, looking for a guide, I was looking for something to help me figure out how to navigate entrepreneurship. There were a lot of books out there that showed you how to write a business plan.
Okay.
They go to the heart of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because, you know, it's one thing to put together a business plan, but it's another thing to have the wherewithal to deal with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And so I wrote that book, like 20 years ago. And really what prompted me to write that book was after my business became successful, I was featured in Black Enterprise.
Okay.
And what happened was I didn't know that they got Black Enterprise in the prisons. And so when that article about me and my business came out, I started getting all these letters from guys in prison, you know, who had read my story and wanted to know how I did it. How did I go from, you know, living in the hood? My dad was in and out of jail, was addicted to heroin. And my story was very similar to theirs. And they wanted to know how I did it. So I really wrote the book, Brother CO, for the guys that was in prison, you know, to be a map, to provide a blueprint of how to do it, you know, because it's one thing to have a vision. It's another thing to act upon the vision. And so in that book, I gave guidelines and strategies on how to act on your vision, because oftentimes when you have a vision, folks will not get excited for you, will not support you.
That's true.
You have to know how to navigate that journey alone. And most people will catch up to your vision once they see it.
Wow. Very
manifested.
Very, very prophetic and powerful. Say that one more time, just for our audience, Harold. I mean, again, can you say that again for me?
Well, you know, so what I find for so many folks that have entrepreneur aspirations is they get discouraged and they give up because people don't get excited about their vision that they have of what they want to do.
Right.
But what I've discovered from my own lived experience is that once you have a vision, God has given you that vision. That's your vision to run with. And what happens is people will catch up to your vision as you are in pursuit.
Wow. Okay.
And so, because, you know, we hear so many times people talking about, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, people don't want to hear that, you know.
Right.
They believe what they see, not what they hear.
Right.
And
kind of the reverse faith process.
Right. And too often we're trying to convince other people of our visions that can't even support or make our dreams, our visions happen.
Yes.
You know, and so I learned that very early on, that people don't often get excited about your vision. And also, a lot of people don't have visions for their own lives. So how can you expect for them to get excited about your vision?
You're so, you know.
But isn't that where the passion for the business, your passion for whatever you're doing should weigh that type of scenario? Isn't that just as important as trying to get somebody to see the vision as well? Because as actors, people don't, when you go to somebody and say, well, I'm going to be an actor, you're going to have those naysayers like, I don't know if that's going to work. But your passion for the art should still be that fire.
Absolutely.
So isn't that also of some importance too as well when it comes down to business? Should that fire still be there regardless of what other people are saying? Should it be there?
That's right.
That's why it's so important to have a vision, because your vision will carry you when nothing else seems to be happening.
Wow. I'm sorry to cut you off in those moments. Those are very powerful nuggets you're dropping right there, Harold. I mean, say that one more time. I always like to reemphasize that once again. Say that one more time.
Well, it's so important to have a vision, because sometimes stuff just isn't going to happen immediately. You know, I remember when I was starting my first business, God gave me the vision for the business, and I thought it was going to happen immediately.
Yes.
And it's easily to get discouraged because sometimes it doesn't happen immediately, but that's when you focus on the vision, because the vision will carry you when it doesn't seem like anything else is happening.
Yes. Yes. Our brother Charles said, boom. He loves that. But I mean, that's probably you preaching, Harold. Now all I got to do is cuss it and make it one thing at the same time.
But the one thing that it takes is that first step.
Right.
That first step is a hard step to take for certain people because, like you say, when you don't get the gratification of other people, it's that first step that you have to take. And that's some people are in fear of taking that first step, and that's where Well,
I can honestly say, and then we'll continue on. I can honestly just to drop this nugget in here. Truth behind the truth is a makeup of a vision that I had.
Oh, yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? It's a true makeup of a vision. And our brother Charles, which is watching it tonight, he knows that as the truth. Charles and I worked together on a project that I wanted to have a male talk show. About almost 5 years ago at this particular point in time. And we tried, and it just seemed like everything we had it where at the point where we thought it was going, and then just felt like the bottom just dropped out of it.
Oh, wow.
And I always knew that it was supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that what I was creating was for a different age of people. You know what I mean? And this age of people, as we always show in our confirmations about this, is that we will be a network show. You know what I'm saying? We will be hypothetically replacing The View. You know what I'm saying? Because just as much as people are turning into The View, they're going to turn into Truth Behind the Truth.
Yes.
Because it's a vision and process. We are developing, we're getting better, and we're becoming stronger. But this right now is a vision come to pass in this broadness of what it is. Now, yes, I could say that, network would take us to another level, but here's the thing. For the way we run this platform right now, we are reaching so many people. We have moved across the waters and around the world in an instant, where we're expecting something else to be able to produce that for us. But we're producing it for ourselves every week. You see what I'm saying? So we're reaching millions of people at one given time, So I would have never known that this was the start of the platform for where I was going, because I was putting something else together. But hey, our creator said, hey, follow me, go through the wind, go through the storm, go through the battles, go through the no's, go through the people getting sick, go through everything that you went through to bring you to this point now, to the point that it was over a year ago that Dollar and I were literally walking through Piedmont Park, and we just said, it's time, and we're going to do it right now. So we literally went home, got a light bulb and put it in front of my face, and went for it. That's true. You know what I'm saying? And from that, it completely evolved to I have to get credit. He likes to be I call our silent partner, but our dear production supervisor, producer, behind the scenes man, Ishmael, and he came on board and he took this to another level. But everybody is always in a plan for where you're going with everything that you're doing. So thank you for bringing that up, Harold. I mean, at the end of that, and so that spirit of the entrepreneurship, you've brought that to this team. You know what I'm saying? Because it's what you operate in, the excellence that you operate in. And so I'm so appreciative about that. But let's move on a little bit more and let's talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to say about the vision. The vision is so important that when you have a vision, that you feel it, and that you focus on it. Because one of the things that happens is when you have a vision, when it comes to pass, it feels like deja vu because you have lived it in your mind and in your soul and in your being.
Yes.
You have pictured it. You have lived it. So when it actually happens, it feels like deja vu. I remember having the vision of being in Black Enterprise. And when it actually happened, when I had the magazine in my hand, I was like, oh my God, this feels like deja vu. And it felt like deja vu because I had rehearsed it. I had felt that thing so often in my head and replayed it so that when it happened in real life, it just felt normal and it felt like
normal.
Deja vu.
Yeah. I love that because, I've always had the point that I've put hashtags I've already put out there in my life. I always call it living my reality. Living in the moment, living my dream. And I've always said to people, you live your dream expands. Don't wait till you think that you got to your dream, but live your dream because you'll be in the middle of it that it's gotten so wide that you really, like you say, you really don't realize you're there, but you're living it, at the end of the day. So, I mean, that is, if we keep the naysayers, out of our ears, and the people that constantly say, well, you can't, or you maybe think about doing something else, or they feel like it's not necessary for you to do that, try to keep them out of your ears, people. You know what I mean? Because you look at it, if you really listen to those people, Harold, back then, you know, and starting your business, you developed, and from my understanding, you developed a multi-million-dollar company at that time. You know, so if you think about it, if you listen to the naysayers back when you had that vision, it would have stifled the vision.
Right.
You know,
because it wasn't supposed to happen for me, because they were looking at where I was. They were looking at the fact that I grew up in the hood. My dad was in and out of jail. My mom was on welfare. They were looking at my present. They didn't know that the vision.
Nobody was looking at the future.
Yeah. And that's what carried me. But here's the thing that I wasn't aware of, that when you are on that path to your dreams, your vision, all of this crazy stuff starts happening in your life.
That's true. That's
and a lot of times people are removed from your life,
right?
Because they can't go with you. And sometimes we be trying to hold on to people that just because they're familiar and they are not meant to go with us. Because I remember feeling very lonely and wanting to give up because people started leaving my life, and because they couldn't understand what I was doing. Why didn't I just, when things got tough, because on that journey to that first $1 million contract, I lost everything. I lost my house, my car. People were telling me, "Go, you need to go get you a job." And that wasn't my vision. That wasn't in my heart.
Right.
And what I've learned about being in pursuit of a vision, it often appears darkish right before things are about to turn around. Seems like all hell breaks loose right when you're on the edge of your dream or vision. To me, that is the indication. Now I know that, but then I didn't. That's the indication that you are closer to your dream than you realize. You feel like you're further away, but you're really much closer to your dream and vision than you realize.
Wow.
I wish so many people would stop using job as a means of someone going out for success. That word job to me has taken on a negative connotation, because job sounds temporary. You know, when somebody tells you need to go find a job, it sounds so like dry.
Right.
You know, it sounds like there's no fulfillment in that word job. Why don't people just say, go find your passion? Go find what makes you happy and what makes you whole as an individual, instead of you just throwing out blatant, you need to go find a job. I'm so sorry for taking that away from, because Harold, that is such, to be honest, which I've heard that so many times in my life, go get a job. Sounds so just negative. It sounds negative before you even go out and do it.
You're right.
But other than that though, Harold, what garnered you towards the health revolution? You went from entrepreneurship to the health revolution. So what made you make that move?
Can I?
Oh, we're gonna wait. Oh,
no. Okay. Can I pay? Because I, if you don't mind, I wanted to make a transition to the health as our final segment for you.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to talk about the transition from here to how discovering, you were enough. You know what I'm saying? Led you into that particular book. And how that, and I'm sure it's a parallel movement in terms of how the book evolved out of you from where you were as a developing entrepreneur to realizing that you had to be enough in order to be able to.
Because that's where we all met.
Exactly.
That's where we all met.
To bring to humanity and help them to realize that they are enough. Because I'm sure that there was a transition period between the entrepreneur man to realizing that you were enough to offer the balance that you had to go through as
there was a whole lot. There was a
whole lot, right? Okay. So share with us about the I Am Enough book, and then and then kind of where that parallel comes in, how you did that,
So I built this multi-million-dollar business, and one of the reasons why I was able to endure all of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship was because I wanted to be able to take care of my mom, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to do that with a job, and so that's what kept me going.
Okay.
And so after my business became really successful, my mom got sick, and she passed, and my mom was always my why. In life, you have to have a why. Why are you doing this? And you have to be clear about that. And so my mom was my why. And so when my mom passed, my why was gone. And so I went from, at my height, my business did almost $4 million in 1 year to making zero. And so I ended up losing everything. And my identity had been attached to that success. to being in Black Enterprise, to having the book, to having the Mercedes and the big house. My identity was attached to that. And so I lost my way. And I felt empty. I felt like I was an imposter, and I didn't feel worthy. And I lost myself. And so in that, I realized that I started having like all of these negative thoughts, even though I had that previous success.
Yes.
I forgot about all that. And one of the things that I've learned is that every day we have between 50 and 60,000 thoughts every single day.
Right.
Most of those thoughts are negative. Now, if most of those thoughts are negative, that's going to keep us stuck. That's going to keep us stifled. And I was in a stuck, stifled place for almost 10 years.
Really?
It was a 10-year period.
Okay.
I was existing. I was showing up in places and spaces with a smile, and people didn't know that I was running on empty because I had lost my why. And I was just doing things, not really making any traction, not really seeing anything come to fruition. Nothing was really happening. And then I started to come back to myself. And part of me coming back to myself was when I got the diagnosis of cancer.
Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember that right there when that happened.
Yeah. That was really the start of me coming back to myself, because I realized how fragile this life is. And I realized that so much of what I thought was important really wasn't important. You know, and I had to really connect with who I was for real. You know, not what I had done, not what I had accomplished. Who am I, and what did I want, and what was the impact that I wanted to make? Because sometimes when you go through a difficult time, you don't think you have nothing to offer. You don't think
right. Well, you feel like you don't have any other, but really you have a whole lot to offer.
Yes.
You know.
But if you've ever gone through any kind of trauma or setback, you learn so much from that experience.
Yes.
Help other folks who are going through something similar. And so for me, it really became about me affirming myself, finding myself, and building up my self-esteem from a real place. Because before, if I'm going to be honest, my self-esteem was based upon what I had.
Really? Wow.
It was based on what I had accomplished. And, and it was about improving. It was about improving.
See, and I want you to keep going, but I just kind of want to give you a little light there. You know, being a true Gemini, what we share to say is that, the one thing about a Gemini realistically is that you will always keep your head up no matter what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You will consistently show that light, even though you may be dealing with so much, turmoil, what's going on in your life, until like you and I found a moment, there's somebody that you can confide and just really be transparent with and cry before them. But at the end of the day, we really, I don't know if that's good, sometimes or unhealthy or whatever, but that's something about our trade, and I know that to be true. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to throw that in there.
And so for me, one of the things that I realized, like for about 10 years, I realized I was depressed. I had been depressed for 10 years. I didn't even really know it, because I was still getting up. I was still taking my son to school. I was still doing the things that I was responsible for, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. And so for me, when I had got the diagnosis of cancer, and it was such a painful experience for me. I mean, I had never experienced pain like that before. Sometimes I just wanted to give up. And it was during that time that I started writing affirmations on my bathroom window, just to encourage myself, because the pain got so intense that, I understand now people who are in severe pain wanting to give up. I get that, because when you are in constant pain, you feel like you just want to just be relieved of the pain.
Right.
You don't necessarily want to die. You just don't want the pain.
Right.
And so for me, I started writing affirmations to myself, and I started recording myself saying affirmation. I would listen to them at night, because I had to reprogram my mind. And we talk about that all the time, shifting our mindset, and people don't really know how to do that.
Yes.
And so one of the ways I did it was first thing in the morning and at night, I would listen to myself saying positive affirmations like I'm enough, like I'm prosperous, I'm healthy.
Wow.
I needed to hear that, and I needed to hear it in my voice, and I would say that back so that I could hear it, and that would help to at least get me out of bed, you know, and at least get me able to function. And it was helping me to begin to shift my mindset and really begin to build myself from the inside out as opposed from the outside in.
Wow. Right.
Most of the time we're looking to build ourselves out with titles and positions and houses, as opposed to going within.
Right. So, you know, and through that, and through your self-discovery, which is so beautiful, you started a movement. You know what I mean? And such a beautiful movement, you know, I mean, at that point, because, you know, through your, the short end, and most people didn't really know your story, but the simplicity that you brought out of the words, I am enough, I think it revolutionized a lot of people's lives. And you know that, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, and what happened. So, you know, I think that your unfortunate tragedy became a triumph, you know, in so many areas for, you know, for a lot of people's lives, which is, again, we've adopted as a model of our show, you know, as well, you know, but, you know, it's beautiful to see that, you know, and how does that make you feel to see what that moment of your life has birthed, you know, and you birthed a movement?
Well, you know, I had an experience one day. I had on the I Am Enough T-shirt. I was walking through a grocery store.
Right.
And there was an elderly lady. She must have been about 80, in her 80s, black elderly lady. And she saw the T-shirt and she mumbled under her breath. When she saw it, she said, I know that's right. And that made me feel so good because I think oftentimes we forget that we're enough. Oftentimes we weren't told that we were enough.
Right, exactly.
We were told that we had to prove ourselves. We were told that we have to change this, change our size, get this degree, marry this person, do this, do that, in order to be enough, in order to be accepted. But the fact of the matter, we are enough just as we are. You know, James Baldwin tells us that your crown has already been bought and paid for.
Wow. Right. Yes.
True. All you have to do is put it on. And
put it on.
To put on our crown. We forget that we're worthy just as we are. Without the job, without the 7 figures in the bank, you just as you are.
So what do you think that why is it that the hardest thing for people to break through or break that glass ceiling of knowing that they are enough? You know, because it's something you have to take on as an individual, you know, at some point, because you have to be, as we always say, you have to wake up and know that you are authentic. You know, to step out from your bed and knowing that you are enough to approach your world, with that dignity and grace, you know. But where is it that you feel that people can be inspired? But what do you think that people lose that strength and that tenacity to really realize those two qualities? You are authentic and you are enough. What do you think?
I think a lot of times it happens in childhood.
Okay.
You know, I think a lot of us have wounds and were traumatized in childhood. I think some of our parents being you know, with good intentions, may have said things to us that was harmful, that made us question ourselves.
Yes.
You know? I remember I was 12 years old and my dad's best friend hadn't seen me in years. And I was, you know, I wasn't a skinny kid, but I wasn't a you know, morbidly obese kid. But when he saw me, he was like, oh my God, he said, you got so big. But he said it with this negative thing.
Right,
you know, I could tell that it was, you know, that big wasn't a good thing.
Right.
And then he said, what do you weigh? He said, how much do you weigh? He said, I bet you weigh. He said an amount. And then he made me go get the scale. And he made me get on the scale. And I think it said I weighed like 98 pounds. And he said, boy, you weigh 100 pounds. Like, you know, like that was something really
wrong,
bad or negative. And it made me very self-conscious about, you know, how I looked. And I started thinking that I was this big kid. And it's amazing how just a moment like that can affect you and have you questioning your worth and your value and have you looking at yourself like something is wrong with you, like you need to change something. And I think a lot of times parents and family members don't realize the power of their words that they have in terms of being able to lift their children up or suppress them.
You know, we bred a generation of people that have just, you know, they don't understand that concept, you know, and it just goes back to so much into, like, as you said, parenting and all type of thing, because what happens is that we beget, I'm gonna use the begets, you know, as a narrative, but we beget this generation, and we beget that consistent generation, but nobody takes the responsibility of stopping the flow, cutting the cord of that negative idea that they've heard, you know, and it's like. And those of you that are watching, I'm just gonna, you know, kind of go here just for a moment. You know, we need to cut the cord of our idea of what we think slavery was, so that we can go forward and know that we are the greatest part of that, and moving forward to possess the thing that we've become. You see what I'm saying? Because we're so fixed on what that was that we need to cut the cord from that and take all of the DNA that was in there and realize that we come from a great stock. You know what I'm saying? We embrace a great stock, but stop living in the stock. You see what I'm saying? And if we stop living in the stock and live in your now, live in your present, realizing that, hey, whatever they went through it for you. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. You have gone through things that in your life, Harold, that you share as a story. But guess what? Those people don't want to go through the cancer experiences. You know what I'm saying? You went through that to give somebody a fortitude to move forward in life. You became that. You found that you were enough in that tragedy. So by you saying that you are enough, this is to you to say to the next person, I am you are enough. You are enough to fight the battle beyond this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we need to, as a group of people, and I'm typically, guys, I'm from a Caucasian, I'm speaking to the African-American people, but here's the thing, even in the Caucasian community, typically Caucasian women, okay, at the end of the day, you guys have been subservient to men for a long period of time, okay? It's time for y'all to cut the damn cord. Okay, be who you need to be. Tell that man to get his ass out the house, take him to court, and get the child support money, and keep your life moving. Okay?
There's the preacher.
Okay,
the preacher.
You know what I mean? Because y'all live in the shadows of these men that don't give a damn about you. You become baby pumps. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean by that? You know, pumping out babies, and you know you don't want to. Okay, at the end of the day, but you have more to bring to society than what you've been allowed to do. Cut that damn cord, get rid of that chain. You know what I'm saying? And live your life and be authentic in it. Okay, I'm done. I don't want to preach no more. Go ahead, baby.
No, but listen, I just feel like at the end of the day, you know, there have been many messages through movies, through stories. You know, you think about. You know, we joke about The Color Purple, but that in itself was a self-discovery through one character, having to get over her own insecurity and having to get over the abuse of what the world gave her. And the same thing with the music we listen to. You know, I love the song The Greatest Love of All, because the greatest love of all is telling you as the individual that in order to oh my goodness, I might get the lyrics wrong.
Which one?
But the greatest love of all, but learning to love yourself. Learning to love is the greatest love of all. And the thing about it is, we, as you know, even you spend on childhood, you know, even in the beginning, you know, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. That don't mean hinder their goals and their passions. And because you have a goal for them, that means, you know, let them lead their own lives. And then on top of that, have that type of, you know, faith in where they're going. If they need some correctness, correct them, but correct them in love. Don't correct them in judgment. I think that we talked about that in the last show. People are so judgmental in their correcting. But the fact is, that's where it needs to happen. It needs to happen in that scenario. And we need to start listening to what people like Harold, like you're saying. I hope people who are watching the show are just not taking it in their own, you know what I'm trying to say. They're not just taking it and just saying, okay, I hear what he's saying, but, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just going to go and do me still. We need to take hold of this, because what's happening right now is, including with social media, you have a lot of children who don't know how to operate in this world. They're going to social media for that gratification because they're not getting it at home. And that's dangerous. It's so dangerous, because I'm looking at it as I work. Every day.
Go ahead, Harold. I know you want to say.
And you know what? Change is so difficult for people. And it's like there's a saying that when you know better, you do better, but that's not necessarily true, because a lot of times we know better, but we still don't.
You just won't do better.
We don't do better.
Right.
And I think about that just even in terms of health. You know,
good
we know that there are certain foods that we eat that have a direct correlation to disease, you know, particularly like cancer. You know, I was reading a report from the American Cancer Society that said in 1980, you had a 1 in 5 chance of getting cancer. In 2021, you have a 1 in 2 chance of getting cancer in your life. A 1 in 2.
Wow.
A 1 in 2 chance of getting cancer. And so we know that there are so many factors that contribute to cancer, one being what we put in our mouths.
Yes.
Everything that we eat is either fighting disease or feeding disease. And also what we put in our heads. Because if we are stressed out, that means our cortisol levels are raised. That's the stress hormone.
Right.
When that is raised, that means our immune system is weakened. And when our immune system is weakened, that makes us susceptible to all kinds of diseases and ailments, including cancer. And so we know this, but in terms of us using that information and making real lifestyle changes is something else. It's like we're playing Russian roulette with our health, you know, waiting for something to happen. It's like, and we bought into this narrative that when you get a certain age that you're going to have all these ailments, arthritis, high blood pressure.
Exactly.
Well, that's an accumulation of bad eating and having too much stress in our lives that has in our system. Where when you get 40 or 50, if you've been eating a certain way or having these types of thoughts, your body has been weakened. So it's likely you may end up with high blood pressure or diabetes or cancer or arthritis.
Well, to your point, and the number one thing that goes back into, like you mentioned about the affirmations and things well, here's the thing. People have affirmed that on their lives. They woke up every day saying that these things are going to happen. They made that a part of their psyche. So what they do, they went and started believing it. You know what I'm saying? They believe that by a certain age, you're going to have this, and you're going to have these ailments and all these other things. So, hey, when it shows up, don't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's scripture. Here's the preacher. The power of life and death is in the tongue. It's very simple. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, and here's the thing. That's not a biblical thing. That's a universal principle that's just spread in place. It just happens to show up in the Bible. Okay? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a universal principle. You speak good things, but good things are going to happen. You speak negative things are going to happen. And it's your creator. Whatever you come out of your mouth, you're creating. At the end of the day, I know Parnell's not going to be able to do too much. I want him to, because what we're going to we'll finish up with the juicing book here. But I want him to kind of touch on how he came up with his T-shirt, because it's so important how your book in line with I Am Enough, but how he elaborated when he came to his understanding of with that beautiful T-shirt. It's not my job to make you comfortable with my life, okay? But it's so important how that ties into you knowing who you are, okay? But share on that real quick, Parnell.
Oh, okay. First, I want to thank you, Harold, for sharing your story, because it's so often. I remember before I got cast in Greenleaf, I was starting to think, okay, what else can I do? Because this acting thing is just not bringing what I thought it was going to bring. And I've been, trudging away, and I've been working, but I hadn't gotten to that next level. And I was sitting like, okay, well, can I start teaching? Can I start doing this? And right when I started looking at other stuff, bam, I got cast in the show, and things in my life changed. So hearing your story of losing, your mother and losing your why, coming back from that, and then losing everything again is just like, wow, you never realize. We only see the good part. We only see when people are successful. We don't see the struggle that happened. And for me, with this T-shirt with it's not my job to make you comfortable with my life, is so many times I realized that I was I was giving too much weight to what other people thought about me and my choices or whatever, that even back when I had hair, how I wanted to wear a mohawk, but I was like, oh, but people will think you're too wild and crazy if you do that. Or, certain clothes that I wanted to wear, and it's like, oh no, people think you're too wild, or they'll think you do this. And And I think it started happening when I turned 40. Like Oprah says, when you turn 40 is when you start caring less about what other people think about you. And so I started once like, you know what, that's not my job to make them comfortable with me. It's not my job to make you comfortable with me as a black man. It's not my job to make you comfortable with me as a gay man. It's not my job to make you comfortable with my belief as I guess I'm an agnostic man. I said, that's my life. These are my choices. You don't have to agree with them. I don't even give a damn if you don't like them. It's not my job. It's none of my business. So I started saying that when I got interviewed, and all of a sudden, I was like, you know what? That would make a great T-shirt. I need to put, I put that out there. And because I kept saying, when people kept asking me, what are my words that I live by, that's what kept coming out. And I'm like, well, that must be my message to put out into the world that it's not your job. You know, like, oh, so-and-so doesn't like that I do this. It's not your job to make them comfortable with that. So-and-so doesn't like that I'm heavy. That's not your job. And so, what are you comfortable with? What do you like doing? What brings you joy? What makes you happy? What makes you feel the most you that you can be? And like Diana was saying, those parents who want their kids, well, I want my child to do this. Okay, that's wonderful. What does your child want to do?
Right.
People go, well, I went into law because my parents wanted me to. Or I became a doctor because my parents wanted me to do this. Okay, but what did you want to do? Well, I wanted to be a zoologist. Well, do that.
Exactly.
And I'm almost here at the theater, so I'm
okay. well, let you get your powerful points of wisdom in here, about it. But and the beautiful part about it, audience, is that when Parnell became the wonderful part of the cast, it just meshed together as to what it was, because we realize, again, we always emphasize that we're about helping you find your authenticity, making sure that you are enough, and letting you know that it's not their job to make you comfortable with their life, so it all is a full circle, and it works just perfectly together. And Parnell, we understand if you got to drop off with us in a minute, but we're going to go in real quick because we got a few minutes to wrap it up here. We want to talk about the juicing. Okay, so as we move forward, juicing 101. So as we roll into, now that everybody understands that the platform of discovery, as they are, and finding out that they are enough, at the end of the day, now it's to find a way to segue into controlling how your health goes from now until your future lives on. So I believe that Juicing 101 gives them a whole lot of ideas about that. Can you elaborate that and where that came from, Harold?
It's about loving yourself enough to take care of yourself. It's about loving yourself to fuel your body with the nutrients that it needs, so that you can thrive, because our bodies are designed to heal. They're designed to heal. If we are fueling our bodies with the proper nutrition, our bodies will heal on their own. But here's the fact. The USDA says that we need every day to 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. 5 to 9 servings. And a serving is comparable to 2.5 cups. So that's about the size of this bowl. So we be eating 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day.
The size of that bowl. Wow.
And the reason why, here's what fruits do. Fruits help to cleanse our body.
Right.
And vegetables help to replenish and restore.
Right. Okay.
And so if we're not getting all our fruits and vegetables, our bodies are not able to do the work that it needs to do.
Right.
And so that's why disease and illness shows up in our lives. And so for most of us, we're not doing that. The USDA says only 1 in 10 individuals, Americans, are eating enough fruits and vegetables every day.
Wow.
And so juicing is just really an efficient way to get your fruits and vegetables in, because you can put 3 apples and some spinach in here, and that's going to give you, your serving, 1 serving, and that'll be enough for 1 serving.
Right.
And so juicing is just, for me, I found to be a very efficient way to get the nutrients in your body that your body needs.
Wow. So how much time did it take you to do your research to put this particular book together?
It was my own lived experience. So it was probably about 3 years of research and 3 years of me just experimenting with different recipes and talking to folks that were in the nutrition field. Because here's an interesting thing that I found in doing the book, was that very few doctors have training in nutrition. Only 20% of the medical schools require that doctors in their training take a single class in nutrition. So that's why when you go to the doctors, they're not talking about nutrition. They're not
right. They're not at all.
They're talking about pills for this or surgery for that.
That's true.
And so they just don't have that training. And so for me, it was about educating myself, because I found that when I was going through the whole cancer experience, my doctors were always trying to give me a pill for this. They were trying to give me a pill to go to the bathroom, pills for this. And I didn't want to fall into that trap, because I saw my grandfather do that, where you're taking a pill for this, and then you'd have to take another pill to offset the side effects from that.
Right.
Meanwhile, most of the medications are toxic to your body. And so what toxicity does to our bodies is it creates inflammation. And inflammation in our bodies is the root cause of disease and illness. That's why people, what arthritis is just simply inflammation. In your knees and in your joints. That's, and if you can eliminate the inflammation, the disease, the ailment goes away. Yeah.
Wow. The let me ask you this real quick, and I'll let you wrap it up for some closing points. So, did you inspire in life to be an author, or was that just a birth passion that you found over time?
I never wanted to be a writer. I didn't think I could write. In fact, when I was in college, I didn't know how to punctuate very well. So if a sentence was long, I would put a comma somewhere, because I knew it wasn't supposed to be that long, but I didn't know where to put it. So no, I never aspired to be a writer. I don't even think I'm a great writer. My son is a brilliant writer.
Okay.
I tell stories. I know how to tell a story.
Right.
And so, but I'm not a great writer. So all my books really have been me just kind of telling my story, or
telling your story.
Information that I've gained over time.
Well, telling your story is absolutely the best form of being an author. Because it comes out of your passion, and that passion. And I'm shut up, John, because I'm talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? But I know I got I'm sorry. I know I got a story. Believe you me, boy. My book gonna be this big. Okay.
I think everybody got at least one book in them.
Yeah, that's what they say. Everybody, I know this one got a deep, a strong book. But you and your son did a book also together, right?
No, my son has written 2 books on his own.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, his 3rd book is coming out in September. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a brilliant writer. He edits my stuff.
All right. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
What, do you have a copy of his book handy, right, that you can show to the audience or whatever?
I do. It's in the other room, though.
Oh, okay. All right.
Gotcha.
Well, guys, tune into The Good Living now. Then, we'll put it up on the
Facebook. They're on the webpage.
Exactly. And we'll find it. You go to the webpage. I'm sure it's up on the webpage.
And I also want to add with the juice. And here I got my own concoction with my own juice. I got my carrots. I got my celery. I got my grapes. I got my green apple. So I'm getting there, but I got it, and it's tasting good. But I'm trying to get
I see your glow. I can tell something's going on. You got a glow. I see it. I see the impact.
Oh, that's the lights and love, but that happens. But even like the juice, I've gotten used to that. Everybody says the celery was the worst part. You
gotta be gangster. You gotta be gangster.
Yeah, and I would say you take it, and see, I like anything that has a little salty taste to it anyway. So celery does have that. So like it kind of gives that pieces of the salty taste of it. At the end of the day. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But so anything that you want to share to the audience real quick about the 3 steps in all of the books real quick, we can wrap it up with that, and then again emphasize where they can get your books and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say that you deserve to be healthy, and that
you
can change your health status around. You don't have to accept, whatever the doctors have told you as fate. You can change it around through making changes. And one of the things that I found is that, once you begin to fuel your body with, proper nutrition, a lot of the cravings that we have and think we can't live without, those things began to go away. There was a point in my life where I didn't think that I could live without ice cream and cheese.
Right.
But once you start fueling your body with proper nutrition, you'll find that those cravings will begin to go away.
Wow. One of the things that's very good. You fill your head, your mind with proper knowledge, then you want to have the proper knowledge for your nutrition. It goes hand in hand, I mean, so knowing that you are authentic, believing that you are enough and walking into the fact that you're enough. And the bottom line, you would say, not trying to make anybody comfortable with your life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
True. And the nutrition, hey, it all comes and makes a part of that, brings it all together. Guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And, our dear brother Harold, I mean, it was very powerful, once again, to hear his story, in its inception and how he's developed, and he's told his life in 3 books. It's just beautiful, So we encourage you to go to thegoodlivingnow.com and get the books, okay? Support Black business, okay? At the end of the day, it don't mean you have to go way over to the hood to support the business, okay? It's right here on the Truth Behind Truth, okay? All right?
Get your supplements, your Black.
Get your supplements. Oh, yeah. Please tell them about your supplements.
Oh, yeah.
So
tell them about your supplement line here, too, as well.
So we have black seed oil. Our black seed oil, it has the highest TQ, which is the thymoquine, which is the effective ingredient in the black seed oil.
Okay.
Most black seed oils that you find on the market. Not all black seed oils are the same. And so very proud of that. And then we also have sea moss, and our sea moss has burdock root in it. So sea moss has 92 of the essential minerals that our body needs. But when you add the burdock root to it, it gives you a complete 102 minerals that our body needs. So we also have the sea moss with the burdock root, and then we have ashwagandha. Now, ashwagandha, if you haven't heard of ashwagandha, if you have problems sleeping, if you have problems with stress, get you some ashwagandha.
Gotcha. And it's also good in the bedroom too, I heard.
Oh yeah. It's good for your libido.
Yeah, thanks to Tabitha Brown. I listen to a lot of Tabitha Brown, but yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Good info. Okay.
Yeah, good info. Yes.
We'll say that for the man show.
All right now. All right.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to us tonight. We want to again remind you that we're here every week. Okay. Same time, same station. All right. The Truth Behind Truth is doing things. We're changing humanity, and that is what our goal is, one step at a time. If you have not shared us, please go out and share us on all pages, all venues. Tell your friends and your family to come tune in. There's a list of videos on either on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Go back, watch these shows. They're very informative. They're out there for you to take it. Hey, none of us making a dime for this. So obviously we put some good seeds out in the universe for you guys to be able to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, at the end of the day. So we'll see you back next week. Next week, we'll be wrapping up our Writer's Page series with my dear sister, Deborah Evans. And she has a very, very powerful book that's coming out that will be so enlightening. And I mean, you're talking about somebody that has went to the verge or brink of death. And have come back. I mean, literally ran over by a car. When you see the beauty of this woman, when you guys get on camera, and when she gets on camera, you see the beauty of this woman, you're going to be amazed, okay? And I'll just say real quick, I remember getting a phone call when she got ran over and had to run to the hospital, okay? Believe you me, when I tell you the beauty of what creative miracle and belief within yourself and all this type of things that can bring you back from the brinks of death, I mean, right on the cusp to a healthy, beautiful, wonderful, moving forward life. It's beautiful. You're going to love her story next week. All right. So please make it a point to be here and tune in. It's going to be great. You guys have a powerful night. We'll see you again. Where? On the Truth Behind the Truth.
Yeah.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.